Hey, Kevin Guthrie here from Radio Newark, delivering another one of our COVID-19 and mental health podcasts. We have a guest with us today, not in the studio because I'm not in the studio and we're not allowed to be together, but we have the lovely Katy Humphrey. Welcome, Katy.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for being here. So I put a shout out and asked if anybody had a story, a COVID story that they wanted to share. And you stepped forward. Just so as people know who you are and where are you from, what do you do? So
I am from Newark. I currently live in Newark with my husband and 2 kids and an array of pets. And I am now a virtual assistant. So I run the Virtual Advantage, which started as just me as a virtual assistant at the beginning of lockdown. And as of this morning, actually, I've just been in talks with a lovely lady that I know that runs a social media marketing company, and we are now working together.
Wow.
To kind of provide a whole array of services to the lovely local folk of Newark.
That's brilliant. Well done.
Thank you.
So it was nice to land a contract, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I think it's a really exciting partnership, actually, because her expertise is marketing and social media, whereas mine is kind of admin and organisation and things like that. So it's going to work really well together with the current clients that I've already got. And then obviously new clients as well. Brilliant.
Well done. So you stepped forward because you had a story.
Yes.
What's your COVID story? How's it been for you?
I mean, it's been up and down. I think it was a real eye-opener for me. I didn't realise quite how run down and burnt out and stressed I was until lockdown hit, and then it forced everybody to stand still. So I before was working part-time, so I'd work 9:30 till 3, and then obviously I've got 2 young children, one at primary school and one at secondary school. So you do the school runs, you take them to clubs, all the different clubs every evening. I'd started painting as well, doing abstract painting.
Oh, nice.
Just as a hobby in my spare time, but it became something that I really loved to do. And I didn't have any time. I mean, you know what it's like when you've got kids and you're running here, there and everywhere, trying to work, carpooling and all sorts. And when lockdown hit, and obviously, like I said, you're forced to stand still, I realised how exhausted I was with everything. And I needed to make a change. And obviously, I didn't want to change anything in the kids' lives. I didn't want to stop what they do, because that wouldn't be very fair.
Not really.
So it was a bit of a mean mummy if I did that. So I decided to have a look at my work-life balance. And even though I only worked 9:30 till 3, I work for an engineering company doing planning and HR. So organising the engineers' calendars who are based all over the UK, and doing HR for the company, which is an incredibly stressful job. And I did love it. I enjoyed it, but it was a lot. And you know, working for a company, there's always limitations. And you are, you know, stuck in the 9 to 5, aren't you, really? So I kind of woke up one day and decided to set up my own business.
Wow.
And I
just like that.
Just like that. I mean, luckily for me, in a way, I had the foundations of the Virtual Advantage created. Probably about 5 years ago, I was completely run down. I had some issues in my past that I hadn't dealt with, and I was just mentally not in a very good state. So my husband, we had a conversation, and he said, just quit your job. So I was working in Nottingham. My daughter was just 1 at the time, and I was, leaving the house at 7:30 in the morning, getting home at 6:30 at night, and I was just in a bad place. So he said, quit the job, hand your notice in, and just take a year and sort yourself out, basically.
Nice.
Yeah, he's fantastic. So that's what I did. I quit my job, and I just kind of thought about what it is that I like to do, and Googled it, really. So I just thought, what am I good at? I'm good at bossing people around, good at being organised. I like things, being in order. I like lists. And managing projects, essentially. I like admin work. My background was in kind of sales, account management, admin, that kind of area. So I just kind of Googled, like, what can I do for myself that incorporates those, and I found a virtual assistant. So I set up the business, but I spent a year doing all the pretty side of it.
The creative side.
Yes, the creative side. So I think I spent about 3 months making a wonderful website, and it was, the bee's knees. It looked fantastic. I spent ages doing a logo. I got all my contracts sorted, and I think I probably worked with maybe 2 clients in the whole year.
Right.
So I didn't actually make any money, but it was more of a cathartic, something to give me a bit of focus. Like I said, I wasn't in the best, headspace. As you know, I came to see you quite a lot. And you helped me through all the personal side of things. And then I think having the BA business set up just gave me something to do in the day to occupy my mind and, keep me going. So I started working with a gentleman in Newark who did he was a leaflet distribution company, and he wanted me to help grow his business. So I kind of got really, really excited, went all in, and about a month and a half after we started, he disappeared into thin air, and didn't pay me. And it was towards the end of the year, Christmas coming up, my daughter's birthday's in December, and I just thought, if I can find a job, 9 to 3 that fits with the kids, I'll do that. It was kind of a panic mode reaction, really, but I found the job at the engineering company, and like I said, I was there for about 3 years, and it was fantastic. But having that year put the foundations in place for me now, that I could just wake up and be like, I'm going to set up a business now. And it was actually quite helpful. So, I'm really glad it all happened that way, because I had all my contracts ready, and I had the logo and the website name and all the stuff that takes a bit of time. I already had in place, and I'm a bit of a hoarder, so I had everything saved.
Kept it all.
Yep, kept everything. So I just woke up and I was like, right, so I'm going to do this now. And I joined MIBA, Newark, the Mums in Business Networking group, and I went to their. It all fell into place, and I'm a great believer of everything happening at the right time.
Absolutely,
and I think everything that has happened over the last couple of years happened at the time it was supposed to happen. And it was all leading me up to where I am now. So I joined MIBA, and literally the next day they had a networking event online, obviously, and I joined that, and I didn't want to, because I was absolutely terrified. I thought, who am I to join and say, oh, I'm a virtual assistant, and come and be my client and let me help you out, when it's imposter syndrome, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just thought, no, I need to do it, because if I don't, then I never will. So I went to one of the networking events, and I got 2 clients off the bat from that.
Wow, event. Straight away. So that was day 2 of business. Wow, that's incredible.
And it was absolutely terrifying. because they contacted me and we said, let's have a chat, and I booked a kind of a scoping call with them to make sure that we were the right fit and I could help them with what they needed. And we had the scoping call, and the whole time I thought, please don't think I'm terrible. please don't realise it's day 2 of business. But no, it went really well, and I've been to a couple more of the events since then, and I've had a few recommendations, and I am technically fully booked now. I'm completely at capacity.
That is amazing.
It was astounding, considering I'd done this for a few years ago, and managed to get 2 clients, to being completely fully booked within 2 weeks of starting.
That's incredible. And it does go to prove that you have to be ready. You have to be mentally ready to be able to do something like that. And maybe those years ago you just weren't quite there. It feels like you were there to be able to do the creative side.
Yeah.
You definitely have a large part of your mind is very creative, and that's what you expressed that, and you allowed yourself to do that. Just on a side note, you must always be creative. You must always have an outlet to be creative. It's really important.
I think that's what my painting is.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the work I do is creative because I do social media content and writing and things like that. But on a personal side, I think that's why I started doing abstract painting. I mean, my house is full now of canvases that don't really go anywhere, don't really fit anything. No. I know, I love that one.
That's mine. That's my creativity. Creativity comes in so many different forms. Even like building the website, which a lot of people would think was technical, but actually some of it is technical, but some of it's also really creative. What colors and shapes shall I use, and how shall I make it move and slide and all of that? But even editing the video that we're recording now, for me, will be part of my creative. Just to take it in somewhere and try and make it visually appealing for the people that are watching it. So creativity is really important, but then you also have this very structured, organized, listy side that helps you be the creative assistant that you are. Not creative assistant, virtual assistant.
I like creative assistant, actually. I might steal that. That's quite good.
It was a Freudian slip, that's for sure. So maybe there's something in there. So through all this, the world goes into pandemic, and you launch a business.
Yes.
Hello.
You can't come in here, sweetheart. Look, you're on the video. Just go and play. Sorry, can you edit that bit out?
I'm not going to edit it out. I'm going to keep it in because it's hilarious.
Well, this is, I think, probably been my biggest struggle, launching a business in lockdown with 2 young children, is they don't seem to understand you cannot come in here for 30 minutes.
I am so not going to edit this out because it's real, and I just wonder how many people working from home. I nearly said mums then, but that's a little bit sexist. How many people working from home have experienced that? Do you know what I mean?
I think all of them will have done at some point because children don't listen.
That's brilliant. And just for anybody listening, we did not set that up. It was absolutely real.
Oh yes, 100%. And I can guarantee it'll happen again as well.
So yeah, it must be, I mean, I live in a house with 2 little dogs, but that's it. But it must be really hard to have kind of woke up one morning and go, I know what I'm going to do today. I'm going to set up a business, but then have the 2 kids there as well. Yeah,
I mean, there are struggles. I'm quite lucky in the sense that my husband worked from home anyway.
Right. Okay.
Before lockdown, so he's quite well versed in working at home.
Yeah.
Although he gets the office and I get the dining room. I have said to him though, now I've got my own business and I'm working from home, we're going to have to convert the desk into a 2-seater so I can come and sit next to you and we can work together.
How did you take that?
Not well. His compromise was, how about we just meet for coffee? So I'll meet you in the kitchen at 10:30 and we'll have a coffee.
Have you got enough space in the garden for a garden room?
No, technically yes, but we have a big trampoline for the kids, so I would have to remove that. I would like to, but
get rid of the trampoline.
But I think we will change the office at some point. But because he works at home anyway, he's really good at, if I say to him, right, I've got X, Y, and Z on today, I need the kids to, not be around.
Yeah.
We're normally quite good at syncing diaries, and he can make sure that they're not being too noisy, and I can do vice, the same for him when he's on his demos and stuff.
Yeah. So over the last 3 months, I think it's been, what has been the worst moment for you? What's been the hardest?
Work-wise or personally?
Either.
Personally, my son's father passed away.
Okay, that was a tough one.
Yeah, that was only last week.
Particularly in terms of the funeral, of course.
Yes, so that's at the end of this month.
Right. Okay.
So that's been quite difficult to navigate. Obviously, my son's 12. So we've been trying to kind of figure out, how to deal with it, how you manage live with it, and how to manage it.
Yeah, of course.
And then I think that it's a scary time.
Yeah.
His death wasn't related to coronavirus, but my father works in one of the big hospitals in London.
Right. Okay.
And he ended up getting coronavirus. Luckily, he wasn't serious. He never got serious enough that he had to be in the hospital. But it's a scary time, and I think as a parent, making sure that you have the equal balance with your children, that they understand what's happening, but they're not terrified.
So difficult that.
It's really hard, and we live in a cul-de-sac, and 2 doors down there's another family with a daughter the same age as mine and a boy about a year or 2 younger than Marcus, and they have forever played outside, played together. They're always at each other's houses, just in and out, and they can't do that now. And when they see each other out on the bikes and they all rush out, and you kind of rush out after them, and you're like, not too close.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get the balance between scaring them and making sure that they're safe.
I've seen 1 or 2 examples whilst I'm out of young people that you can just see are terrified. You can see the fear in the face just in shops, supermarkets. And I do get it, but I really admire what you just said. It's about getting that balance between not terrifying them and not setting up health anxieties, which is highly likely moving forward, but keeping them safe at the same time, because you want to keep them safe.
Exactly. And one of the big things for me with the kids and coronavirus is looking after their mental health and their mental well-being. And that was one of my biggest factors in deciding whether Scarlett was going to go back to school. Because she had the opportunity, and I did decide to take her back in the end. But I was concerned about the effect it would have on her, because we'd done quite well with her in terms of not terrifying her with coronavirus and the lockdown. And I was worried that if she went back into school and it's all cornered off and the teachers had masks on, and it's like, don't touch, don't play, you can't do this, you can't do that. But I was more concerned on the impact that would have on her, as opposed to how worried I was about her being in contact with other children.
I've said all along that people have to make decisions and choices based on their own personal circumstance. That part's really important, and I've said as well that there is no right or wrong. It's just people making different decisions, but you have to do what's right for you.
You do, and everybody's circumstances are completely different, and everybody's mental well-being is completely different. And that's parents and children, and people that don't have kids. And I think we were at the stage where we all needed a bit of a break.
Yeah.
You know, you love your kids more than anything in the world, but sometimes you just don't want to hear them.
Enough.
I don't want to hear the word mum.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just done with it. So so she went back to school, and I think it got a bit easier for everybody. She's only there 2 days a week, but even 2 days a week, 9 till 3
it's a break.
It is. And it means I can get on with some work as well without being interrupted. So I've been organising all my meetings for those 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm like, right, we can Zoom in peace.
I think it's amazing that you literally woke up that morning and went, okay, so this is what I'm doing. The next day was the networking meeting, and then all of a sudden you're full. Just incredible. Absolutely amazing. Well, it just is. It's a real positive story from what has been a really dark time for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think that's what I wanted to make it, because I like to be busy and I like to be doing things.
Yeah.
I don't like to just be sat twiddling my thumbs.
Yeah.
And I just thought now is the perfect time for me to do whatever it is I want to do. I was on furlough, so I had the opportunity to do that. And I just thought, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to.
Yeah.
And yes, I was terrified, and I still have imposter syndrome, and you think, am I actually any good? But you just have to take that leap, because if you don't, then you never will.
Yeah.
And I just kind of thought, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
I can go to a marketing event, a networking event, and I can market myself, and I might not get a client.
Yeah.
But then I'm in the same position that I'm in today.
Yeah.
So nothing really would change if it didn't work. I still have my job to go back to after lockdown. And I just thought, I knew in my gut that I could do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's really, really important to just trust your gut and trust your instincts. And my instincts were saying, this is the time. This is your time. So I just did it.
Yeah.
And I'm also doing a couple of courses at the same time.
Of course. Why not?
Business isn't enough, being fully booked. So I've started doing an NLP diploma.
Yep.
And I've got a business coaching course next Wednesday.
Oh, brilliant.
So I'm kind of hoping that I will be able to grow from not only being a virtual assistant, but being able to be a business coach as well.
Yeah. There's a big market out there for both of those areas. So that's brilliant. Just picking up on something you said then about trusting your gut is so important. Mm-hmm. But the way we do that is by self-belief. So you have to have that level of self-belief in place for you to hear your gut and then believe it. Because who would have thought that we would have gone, oh yeah, I heard my stomach, and then I went, yes, that's what I'm going to do. But it's true. We feel things, and they say now that we have 3 thinking areas of the mind, of the body. It's the mind, the stomach, and the heart. So if we can feel things in the heart as well, it also has the capacity to think and store memories. So little bit of psychology there for you. Google. Go on.
I was just going to say it's so important to trust yourself, and I think everybody has their own intuition, and everybody has their gut, and it's just learning to listen to it, and it's taken me a long time, and I still have a long way to go. I'm by no means an expert in intuition and trusting your gut, but I just trying to ignore the niggle in your head, the one that says, do you really think you can do that? Like, is it really a good time? And if I know, I'm just learning to go with it. Actually, no, this is right. I know this is right. This is my time. This is what I want to do. And then going with it. But then I think because it's different for everybody, and I'm quite I don't know if bull in a china shop is the right phrase, but I listen to my gut, and then I run with it, and I'm just like, right, well, I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this, and I get a bit ahead of myself sometimes.
Right.
So I've had to learn to listen to my gut and make a plan, but don't necessarily run in head first.
Okay.
Too far.
Yeah.
But
again, it feels like you're creating a balance there. It feels like your biggest strength at the minute is you hear yourself. So we were talking about imposter syndrome, and you were just talking about kind of intimating imposter syndrome again. But with imposter syndrome, as long as we hear it, then we can begin to unpick it. It's when we don't hear it that it gets to run its wicked way with us. But what you're doing with all of those instances is hearing it, unpicking it, and going, oh yeah, maybe I'll just shift it a little bit. So brilliant. So good.
It's something that takes time.
Yeah.
These things, they take time to learn how to do it, and especially if you've spent years listening to the imposter in your head. Yeah. It can be quite hard to differentiate between what's an imposter and what's truthful. Yeah. But I've just tried to go with the thought that if it's negative, I don't need to listen to it. Yeah. And I just need to kind of channel that positivity. Yeah.
There's a little phrase that I use, and it's hear it, challenge it, change it. So we have to hear first. If it's not healthy or helpful, which is my other two favorite words, then we have to challenge it, and then we change it. Yeah. So they will appear on a business card soon, a little bit like that one. I'm working on it. That's my creativity, is creating cards like that. Katy, thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for sharing your story. Is there anything that you would like to leave our listeners with, a little nugget of inspiration?
I would just say have confidence in yourself, because you know your strengths, you know your expertise, you know what you're good at, and don't compare yourself to others. Don't let things that other people say to you plant that seed of negativity in your mind. Just have that focus on what you want to do, what you're good at, and go with it, because people buy from a person. And if you've got the confidence behind you, then there's I just don't think there's any stopping people. There's no stopping you. Just have confidence in your ability, and just run with it. Yeah.
Self-belief is so important.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you can't do any of that on your own, then go and sit with somebody that can help you work it through.
Exactly. You don't have to do it on your own. Setting up your own business can be quite daunting at the thought of being sat by yourself. But there's loads of networking groups around. There's Business Club and MIBA and there's loads of small businesses. And if anybody is, you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to, sit and have a chat, and we can have a Zoom and pretend that we're in an office if somebody needs it. Yeah. Oh, bless you. That's brilliant and great little words of wisdom there at the end. So thank you so much for being here today. No problem. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We're going to close now. Remember that I am looking for guests for these podcasts, personal or business stories, anything Corona related at the moment. Give me a shout on Guthrie Therapy's Facebook page, and I will get back to you. As I always say, be kind to yourself and be kind to everybody around you, and please be safe. Take care. Bye-bye.